Today I'm going to be talking about Chinese white, titanium white, white watercolor in general. Should you use it? There's a lot of people that say, no, you shouldn't use white in your watercolor. You're just supposed to use the white of the paper. Now, I think white watercolor is useful. I have been using titanium white watercolor for highlights in my paintings for a long time, and was instructed to do so by a workshop instructor. So, he said, you can tone things down. And then I thought, well, what's the difference between titanium white and Chinese white? And I did a little test myself, and I did a little research on my own, and it said titanium white is brighter, cooler, and more opaque. So this is titanium white on some of that denim blue mixed media paper that I picked up. I kind of like it. It's not watercolor paper, it's mixed media paper. And then I got some Chinese white, which they say is a little bit warmer and a little bit more translucent. So if you want to mix it, then, it will provide a cleaner mix. I could tell that this was more uniform and smoother. And to be honest, it was a little bit more opaque. I could have used it in a higher concentration than I did the titanium white. The titanium white, I might have added a little bit more water, but I don't know if you can see that or not. But there are heavier particles. It's kind of granulating, where this is kind of really smooth. So I thought, I would just kind of do a little bit of test here. I'm going to use it straight out of the tube. When I did these, they were dried down on this little plate I was using. I was also trying to make mix some different colors of paint. So let me get a brush here, maybe a small brush, so I can kind of give these a test and see how they do for white highlights. Maybe I'll just make some veins in these leaves. And they still kind of fade into the paper. Maybe if you use it in more concentrated, now I'm using titanium white. But see how it kind of still fades into the paper? I might need to wet my brush again just because I'm getting dry brush techniques now, or some dry brushing, because it's just not wanting to flow. But that's kind of pretty. It depends on what kind of watercolor you're doing, because a lot of people just grab a tube of gouache because it is a little bit more opaque. How does that look? See, you really just can't see it very well because it ends up fading into the paper. Now, if I wanted to go over this and really have my white lines standing out, I would probably get a Posca pen or a Uniball gel pen or Jelly Roll. I like Jelly Roll better than Uniball. Or gouache. Okay, so there is, and I can see where it's a little bit cooler. Let me just go ahead and put a sample up here, and I'll just put it like straight out of the tube. All right. Then we can compare it to Chinese white. All right, let me put that lid on. Okay, so over here is Chinese white. Now, on the internet, when I did my research, they say Chinese white is good for glazing over things to give them, you know, like a atmospheric visualization, atmospheric effect. And also Chinese white is good to use as a mixer because it is less opaque and it is, you know, just, you won't lose that translucency by adding another color. I found it to be a little bit more translucent. It came off really well though. I really liked it. And I used it for a mix, and I'll show you, I used both of these for a mix, so I'll show you that in a minute. But let's go ahead and see how Chinese white holds up to putting on leaves as veins, and see how it stands out. Oh, goodness gracious. Now, I am noticing this paper is pilling a little bit. So I don't know if it's really good for watercolor. I think it might be better for like white colored pencil or neocolors. I don't know. I like this. It feels smoother and less chalky than titanium white. I am finding it to look a little bit warmer than Chinese or than titanium white. And I'm going to put a little bit up here so in its full strength so we can compare it. And I'll show you those mixes I did, or a mix I did. I was trying to create a dupe for Michael Harding's Warm White. And it has, well, look, I can't find my lid again. There it is. I don't know, man. I think I like Chinese white better, which is zinc white, and it's PW4. Titanium white is PW6. I don't know if you can visualize the difference between titanium white and Chinese white. I do think the Chinese white looks a little warmer than the titanium white, but yet I think it went down better than the titanium white. The titanium white is kind of pasty or chalky or something. So, and it had particles in it when it left. Now, I think this turned out really pretty. Now, I did try to make this mix. It's a Michael Harding warm white, and I'll show you. It's Michael Harding's warm white. And I have a lot of Daniel Smith paint. So it says it's PW4, which the first pigment is usually the most pigment. It was PW4, PW6. Now PW6 could be buff titanium, but I don't think it was. I think it's titanium white. And PY43, which is a yellow ochre. I had golden ochre that was Verona gold ochre that is a PY43 in Daniel Smith. I had a yellow ochre that was a PY43 in Holbein. I don't use yellow ochre much. I use real sienna. I had a geothite, which was quite brown, and it's brown ochre, but it was also PY43. And I had transparent yellow oxide, but it was PY42. And I had French ochre, which was PY43. And this French ochre was quite a bit darker as well. You know, it didn't give off, you know, it seemed a little bit too brown. So, here's what I did. I tested. I just started out with Chinese white. They look pretty close. This is my Daniel Smith mix that I did myself. This is the Michael Harding warm white. I did take the advice. I'm so happy to see you guys in the comments. I'm just so happy to see you. It helps me a lot and it encourages me. So thank you so much. And I can't wait to swatch those Gansai Tambis on Sunday. But this is Michael Harding's warm white. So I took Chinese white, titanium white, and then I first took this gold ochre, okay? And I just kept adding and kept adding, and I think I got it pretty close. What do you think? So let's swatch it out and see if I did. I just kept adding. This one looks a little bit pinker or peachier or something. So here is Michael Harding's. So pretty. And I don't know if you can see it. Let me see if I can swatch it on this. It's so smooth. Okay, Michael Harding. So pretty. And here is the convenience mix I made with Chinese white, titanium white, and Verona gold ochre. Let's see. I'm having some construction done in my house, so that is so close. Let's see if the texture's the same. I'm going to put a little bit more. So I think that's what I'm gonna try to do from now on, is if I find a color that I just love, I'm gonna make my own convenience mix from Daniel Smith, because that is a perfect match. Now, I did a little painting. Let me show you the swatches I did. This is warm white, so I was trying to match it, and I was even using buff titanium. And buff titanium is close. I mixed buff titanium with Chinese white and titanium white. And I got close to the warm white. So, you know, you can use buff titanium and add a little bit of Chinese white. I think white watercolor is a good thing to have on hand. And here's what I did. I took some Chinese white and I mixed it with Hansa Yellow Medium. And then I took some Michael Harding's Warm Yellow Light and Warm Yellow, which both have white in them. And I put it down and I mixed the French ultramarine blue with Chinese white. And then I end up mixing green apatite genuine with Chinese white. And everything went down perfect. And that yellow did not mix with the blue in the sky and make green. It would turn a little gray, but gray in skies is okay. So, and then I just used some Bronzite Genuine, and then I used some Lunar Black. So there's another controversial. Should you have black in your watercolor palette? So let me know what you think about having white in your watercolor palette to, you know, to use. And I use those colors here in those leaves. Let me know what you think. Are you pro-white or not pro-white? It doesn't matter. You can do whatever you want. You know, it's your watercolor paintings. So I think I like the Chinese white better, but I can see a useful to have titanium white. So I'm going to carry them both. I'm not going to put them on my regular palette, but I am going to have both of them in tube form. So let me know what you do. I'm interested. So talk to you later and see you Sunday. And I hope everyone continues to stay happy. Like and subscribe. Bye.